Deserts have always been a topic of great debate among historians and theorists. For some people, deserts are little more than a barren wasteland. However, for others, deserts can be seen as beautiful landscapes. For the most part, we often differentiate between different types of deserts, depending on whether or not the desert sand is made up of gravel, salt, stone, ice, or normal sand. Though there's one thing in common with all of these areas: there's very little vegetation to be seen, if there's any at all. Many of us are fascinated by deserts like the Sahara and the Gobi. That's because these deserts are remarkably large and cover several million square kilometers. While many of these areas seem to be nothing but a wasteland at first, these deserts hold secrets that may change the course of history forever. Today, we'd like to introduce you to some of the most amazing puzzles that have been unearthed in deserts to try to get a better understanding of the world around us. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell to stay up to date with all of our future videos. Also, be sure to stay tuned for number 1. We saved the best for last. What is under the sand of a desert? The Sahara Desert is known to extend more than 9 million square kilometers. This makes it one of the largest barren areas on our planet. More specifically, it's the largest dry desert in the world. Heat in the Sahara Desert can grow extremely high, eliminating any possibility of wildlife or humans being able to survive for very long without proper food and shelter. Though that isn't the only thing that makes the desert so dangerous. In fact, during the winter nights, temperatures can rapidly fall below freezing. The next morning, temperatures will rise again just as quickly as they fell the evening before. These dramatic temperature fluctuations make it nearly impossible for any plant or animal to live in the Sahara without serious health risks. In some rare occurrences, bizarre weather patterns can even lead to snow falling on cold desert nights. This is very rare, and the last time this happened in modern history was about 5 years ago in December of 2016. Though with all of this in mind, many people beg to know the answer to one simple question: what exists beneath all of that hot desert sand? We know that in some areas of the world, experts have already uncovered large oil reserves. However, there was one particularly shocking discovery that came just a few years ago. Some researchers found evidence that large bodies of water may exist beneath the sand. If this is true, this could explain the seemingly random oases that can be scattered around some of the world's deserts. It was previously assumed that these undersand water deposits were self-contained and would eventually dry up. However, more recent research seems to suggest that these areas have been replenishing their water over time, suggesting that they may be connected to much larger bodies of water. We know that some researchers believe that the desert was once a tropical area, and if water continues to pour in, it's possible it may return that way sooner rather than later. Mysterious stone tools. This discovery is incredibly bizarre and nearly required historians to completely rethink what they believe to be true about human history and the evolution of the modern world around us. Before this discovery, researchers believed that modern humans would have been the first species to have created tools. However, a 2011 discovery in the Kenyan desert may force us to rethink this idea. Researchers in the area unearthed a series of around 150 tools that they believe were 3.3 million years old. They came to this conclusion using the carbon dating technique. While this technique has proven to be very valuable throughout history, scientists have admitted that the technology has never been proven to be accurate when deciphering objects that are believed to be millions of years old. For example, if you were to grade an object that was estimated to be 3,000 or 4,000 years old, the technology works almost flawlessly. However, when you start adding tens of thousands of years, or in this case, hundreds of thousands of years, the technology is little more than theoretical science. Because of this, we can't say much for sure, but scientists believe that the tools they found predate all of modern history. This would mean that modern humans have existed on Earth for much longer than we originally thought. Though another possibility is that humans were not the only self-aware species that could have used tools, and there may have been other species that existed long before us. Scientists had formerly believed that the first tools would have popped up around the same time that the world's climate began to change. This would have forced our ancestors to begin hunting for meat and using these tools to harvest meat from their prey. This would have been because their natural environment shifted in a dramatic way, meaning they could no longer harvest crops for food. This forced them to resort to eating animals to survive. However, this is nothing more than a theory and has never been proven. Because of this, researchers truly have no idea where these tools may have come from or why they appear to be so old. Another possibility is that the carbon dating method is simply flawed, and these tools are not nearly as old as science may lead us to believe. Band of Holes. The Band of Holes is a highly mysterious area in Peru that's home to around 7,000 holes that have been dug into the desert floor. Each of the holes is estimated to be around 2 meters deep, with the overall area of holes being around 1.5 kilometers long and about 20 meters wide. The holes were first discovered as researchers were looking through the Pisco Valley on the Nabta Plateau. Who created these holes or what purpose they serve has never been determined. Some people believe they could have been used for some sort of ceremonial or religious purposes. However, others believe they may be nothing more than a burial ground for the people who lived there many years ago. All we know for sure is that the pits were dug between the 15th and 16th centuries, but we don't know if they would have been dug by the Inca, Nazca, or Paracas people. In reality, they may not have been dug by any of these people and could belong to a settlement that has been lost to time. Fairy circles. If you were to take a hike through the Namibian desert, you would eventually come across a strange area of land that to this day has never been explained. These mysterious circular structures on the ground are called fairy circles by the locals, but no one knows where they came from. If you were to look at the circles and take them at face value, it appears as though they were created by some unseen force. That's because there's no natural explanation about how they came to be. They don't appear to have been created by any natural process that's currently known. To this day, the origins of the so-called fairy circles remain unknown, but that doesn't mean there haven't been numerous theories that propose where they came from. Some people claim that creatures like termites could have caused damage to the soil, resulting in strange circles. Others believe that harmful fungi could be causing grass and other vegetation to refuse to grow. However, neither of these theories has been proven. Another far-fetched idea is that underground gases are causing the circles, or even that ostriches or zebras have been rolling around on the ground. None of these explanations seem to make sense, nor could any of them realistically cause such perfect circles to be formed. Another strange fact is that the circles never overlap one another. They're all separate and stand apart from the others. We don't know what this may mean for the natural landscape, but it has led many to believe that the circles are being created by an unknown force. The circles can achieve diameters of anywhere from 2 meters to 20 meters. They will all appear for a period of about 75 years before they disappear, never to be seen again. The blossoming of the desert. The Atacama Desert is estimated to span about 1,200 kilometers along the Pacific coast of Peru and Chile. It's known for being the driest wasteland on our planet. There are many different areas of the Atacama where there will never be a single drop of rainwater for years on end. However, in most areas, there's only an average rainfall of about 0.5 millimeters per year, which is essentially nothing. However, regardless of this lack of rainfall, every once in a while the desert will be filled with beautiful wildlife that seems to pop up out of nowhere. This most often occurs when El Niño is in full effect. When this happens, the water in the area along the coast becomes unusually warm, resulting in a coastal fog that spreads throughout the desert and never evaporates. This moisture in the area provides enough water for rare desert plants to sprout and blossom, leading to one of the most beautiful desert scenes the world has to offer. The area becomes so luscious and beautiful that it can be hard to imagine that just a few months before, it had been nothing but a barren wasteland. The time in which these plants begin to blossom is known as the desert blossom. The plants that suddenly appear here are filled with beautiful, dazzling colors, unlike anything the locals have seen in a very long time. The plants will remain for about 2 to 3 months before they wither and are never seen again for the better part of a decade. Nabta Playa. One of the most interesting archaeological discoveries of all time is located in the Namibian desert. It resides about 100 kilometers west of Abu Simbel, and researchers found countless artifacts that would have stemmed from the Neolithic age in a salt slat known as Nabta Playa. One of the most interesting discoveries in this region is a large structure that's remained unexplained for countless years. What's so interesting about this structure is that it's believed to be about 1,000 years older than the world-famous Stonehenge, making it one of the oldest, largest structures ever discovered. The incredibly large rocks that were used to craft the structure stuck up around 2.7 meters into the air. By all means, there's no way an ancient human should have been able to lift this rock, even with the help of dozens of other workers at the time. What makes the structure even more mysterious is that we have no idea who would have built it. It's estimated that the structure would have been erected around 6,000 years ago, but we don't know this for certain. A deeper analysis of the rocks determined that each of the rocks was meticulously placed, indicating that the structure served some type of important purpose. It wasn't just placed there for decoration. Some researchers believe that the structure could have been used to help locals determine when the summer solstice had begun. However, this is purely speculation, and there's very little evidence to back up this theory. All we know for sure is that the people who lived here all those years ago must have been far more advanced than we can give them credit for. Obviously, in the years since the discovery of the monument, people have proposed that the monument could have been created with the help of an alien species. However, for all the obvious reasons, this is highly unlikely. The more plausible explanation is that these ancient humans likely had access to some sort of advanced tool or technology that has simply been lost to time. In fact, it could have been the same invention that helped the ancient Egyptians craft the pyramids. This theory actually has a bit of weight to it, and I'll explain why. According to historians, we know that the ancient Egyptians likely took inspiration for their beautiful creations from other popular civilizations at the time. We don't know for sure, but some researchers have reason to believe that the ancient Egyptians could have actually used the Nabta Playa as inspiration for their own structures. If this is true, it's highly possible that the Egyptians could have also mimicked their building style, recreated their tools, and created their own structures in a very similar way. With this in mind, it becomes all the more convincing that there was likely some sort of ancient tool that was able to lift these heavy objects that we simply lost touch with over thousands of years. This tool would likely explain how the pyramids and various other objects were created throughout the early years of human history. Thanks for watching. Let us know what was your favorite discovery from this list. Also, if you know of any other secrets from the desert, be sure to share them in the comments below. That's all for now. Make sure you hit that like button and ring the notification bell, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.